Imagine for a moment that everything you were taught about miracles was incomplete. Think about the possibility that what we call miracles are not exceptions to reality, but expressions of deeper laws, laws that operate silently beneath the surface of existence, waiting for someone with the right understanding to activate them. Now imagine that Jesus was one of the rare beings who mastered these laws fully, not just spiritually, but energetically, mentally, and vibrationally. Today we begin unraveling this hidden science, forgotten by many but preserved in fragments, across the teachings of mystics, Hermetic philosophers, ancient healers, and esoteric traditions. And at the end of this journey, you will hear the most powerful revelation of all, a truth that connects the teachings of Jesus directly to the universal energy that shapes every aspect of life. But before we go deeper, pause and subscribe to the channel, leave your like, comment below, and share this video. Stay with me until the end, because the insights revealed here can completely reshape how you understand consciousness, faith, and the nature of creation itself. To understand the secret science of miracles, we must first revisit who Jesus truly was beyond the conventional narrative. Scholars such as Elaine Pagels, Joseph Campbell, and Rudolf Steiner suggested that Jesus carried initiatory knowledge of mystery traditions that were already ancient in his time. His teachings were not random. His parables were not simplistic. His actions were not spontaneous acts of divine whim. Everything he did appeared to follow a certain pattern, a pattern that aligns uncannily with the laws of energy described in Hermetic writings, in the Kabbalistic tree of life, in the Essenes manuscripts, and even in early Christian mystical texts that were later suppressed or forgotten. Consider this: when Jesus said, "According to your faith be it unto you," he was not merely offering encouragement. He was describing an energetic mechanism. Faith, in its profound sense, is not about believing blindly. Faith is emotional resonance. It is the inner alignment of intention, emotion, and the subtle energy field of the human being. When someone reached a state of full coherence, total harmony between thought, feeling, and inner presence, Jesus reflected that alignment back to them, activating a healing process that already existed within their own system. Modern research in bioenergetics and quantum studies hints at something similar. Scientists like Bruce Lipton and Greg Braden argue that the human body responds dynamically to thoughts, emotions, and intentions. Ancient mystics knew this long before modern science caught up. They taught that human beings emit fields of energy, and these fields respond to consciousness. Jesus understood this not as theory, but as lived truth. Now imagine Jesus placing his hand on a person and saying, "Your faith has made you whole." Notice he did not say, "My power has healed you." He did not claim credit. He pointed to a law, one that exists in every human being. His role was not to impose energy, but to awaken the dormant potential within others. In Hermetic philosophy, this principle is well known. The inner state shapes outer reality, and the mind is the first cause of all manifestation. Jesus demonstrated this principle repeatedly, through healings, teachings, and acts that appeared supernatural, but were, in truth, superconscious. Think deeply about the importance of the spoken word in his teachings. "The words that I speak unto you are spirit and life." Words are more than sound. Every word carries frequency. Every intention carries vibration. Ancient traditions understood that language could shape physical reality. Modern experiments in cymatics show how sound creates forms in matter. If sound can shape sand, imagine what focused speech from a fully aligned consciousness could do. Consider another dimension. Jesus spent time with the Essenes, a group known for their mastery of breathwork, fasting, meditation, and energetic purification. Their teachings emphasize the subtle fields of the body, the power of intention, and the alignment of inner and outer worlds. Historians such as James Tabor and Edmund Wilson describe how the Essenes preserved knowledge that bridged spirituality and energetic science. If Jesus was influenced by them, as many scholars believe, then his miracles were not isolated events. They were demonstrations of a refined spiritual technology. Ask yourself, if these laws existed then, do they still exist now? Are they exclusive to a few chosen beings, or are they part of the human blueprint? What would happen if you learned to align your thoughts, emotions, and intentions the way Jesus did? What could your life look like if you activated your inner field with consciousness instead of fear, clarity instead of confusion, presence instead of doubt. Reflect on this. What if miracles are not supernatural, but simply natural events, performed from a higher level of awareness? What if the key to unlocking them is not external, but deeply internal? And most importantly, what if the same capacity lives inside you, waiting to be awakened? This is only the beginning. There is far more to uncover, and each layer brings us closer to understanding the hidden science of miracles. To continue unveiling the secret science behind miracles, we must examine something that has been overlooked for centuries. The idea that Jesus was not only teaching moral values, but revealing energetic principles that govern every layer of existence. These teachings were embedded in metaphors, parables, and symbolic actions, meant to awaken deeper understanding in those who were ready. When read through the eyes of ancient mysticism, his words transform from simple guidance into precise descriptions of how consciousness interacts with the universe. Think about one of his most powerful statements: "The kingdom of God is within you." This was not poetic language. It was a declaration that the divine field, the creative force, the energetic blueprint of all miracles, already resides inside the human being. Mystics from different cultures echo the same truth. The Hermetic philosopher Hermes Trismegistus wrote that the universe is mental, formed from the mind of the all. Kabbalistic teachings describe the human soul as a spark of the infinite light. The Hindu sage Yogananda insisted that Christ consciousness is a universal state available to anyone who awakens to it. All these traditions point to one idea: the power that shapes reality is already inside us. Now consider how Jesus demonstrated this idea through action. When he calmed the storm, he was not fighting nature. He was aligning his inner state with a higher order, projecting coherence into chaos. When he multiplied the loaves and fishes, he was not creating matter out of thin air. He was tapping into the invisible field where all potential already exists. Scholars like Rudolf Steiner and Paramahansa Yogananda studied these acts deeply, arguing that they represent mastery over the subtle laws that connect thought, emotion, matter, and energy. Imagine what it means for a person to enter a state of complete alignment. Imagine a consciousness so steady, so clear, so connected to the source field that the external world bends in response. Modern physicists such as David Bohm spoke of an implicate order, a hidden dimension beneath physical reality that organizes all things. Mystics across centuries claimed that the enlightened mind can interact with this dimension consciously. What Jesus accomplished is consistent with this idea, a mind so unified with the divine pattern that reality responded as effortlessly as a shadow follows the body. But there is another dimension of this science that many ignore: emotion. Jesus emphasized love not just as a moral ideal, but as a vibrational state. Love is not merely a feeling, it is a frequency that organizes energy. When he said, "Perfect love casts out fear," he was describing energetic mechanics. Fear constricts the field. Love expands it. Fear scatters energy. Love harmonizes it. A field harmonized by love becomes capable of influencing reality in extraordinary ways. Imagine two tuning forks. Strike one, and the other begins to vibrate at the same frequency. This is resonance. Now imagine a human being radiating love with total coherence. Everything around them begins to shift. People feel calmer. Spaces feel lighter. The body heals more quickly. Possibilities open. This is not superstition. This is resonance at the deepest level of human experience. Jesus embodied this state constantly, and those around him felt it so strongly that miracles occurred naturally in his presence. Consider another powerful example: the laying on of hands. Many assume this was symbolic, but modern research reveals that the human body emits measurable electromagnetic fields. Studies in heart coherence from the HeartMath Institute show that emotions influence the field dramatically. When someone in a state of deep love, compassion, or unity places their hands on another person, the fields synchronize. The stronger field entrains the weaker one, promoting balance, healing, and clarity. Jesus understood this intuitively, long before it was studied scientifically. Reflect on the woman who touched the hem of his garment. Jesus said, "Power has gone out from me." He felt the shift because he understood the flow of energy. He recognized that she touched him not physically, but energetically through her belief and intention. Her inner alignment activated the law, and Jesus simply acknowledged the transfer. Now ask yourself, what happens when your thoughts, emotions, and intentions fall out of alignment? What happens when doubt interrupts faith, when fear overrides clarity, when the mind becomes divided? You can feel the disruption within you. Your energy becomes scattered. Your intuition weakens. Your inner state becomes confused. Jesus taught that miracles arise from coherence, not fragmentation. To him, faith was not belief, it was internal unity. This leads us to a profound truth. Miracles are not created, they are allowed. They emerge naturally when the inner self attunes to the deeper laws of existence. Every great mystical tradition agrees with this. The Sufis call it surrender to the divine current. The Taoists call it alignment with the way. The Buddhists call it awakening. Jesus described it as becoming one with the Father, the universal source that sustains all creation. Before we move forward, reflect on your own inner state. Have you ever felt moments of perfect clarity where everything seemed to flow effortlessly? Have you ever experienced intuitive guidance that seemed to come from a higher place? These experiences are not accidents. They are glimpses into the same field Jesus mastered fully. And the more you learn to align with that field, the more your life begins to transform. There is still much to uncover. The most important revelations are yet to come, including the final insight that ties all of this together into one transformative truth. To move deeper into the hidden science behind the miracles of Jesus, we must explore one of the most misunderstood dimensions of his teachings: the relationship between inner transformation and external manifestation. Jesus repeatedly emphasized that change begins within. He spoke of renewing the mind, purifying the heart, and aligning intention with truth. These were not abstract ideas. They were descriptions of a process that activates the energetic mechanisms through which miracles unfold. Imagine for a moment that the universe is like an ocean of vibrating energy, constantly responding to the frequencies emitted by every human being. Ancient traditions across the world describe this ocean in different ways. Mystics of the Middle East called it the breath of God. Hermetic philosophers referred to it as the living mind. The Kabbalists saw it as the infinite light that flows through the tree of life. Modern physics calls it the unified field. Regardless of names, all point toward a single truth. Reality is shaped by invisible forces, and the consciousness of an individual can influence these forces in profound ways. Jesus understood this inner architecture with extraordinary clarity. When he spoke of the eye being the lamp of the body, he was pointing to a deeper truth about perception. What you see, feel, and expect becomes the lens through which energy flows into your life. When the inner eye is clouded by fear, anger, or confusion, the energetic flow becomes distorted. When the inner eye is clear, the flow becomes coherent. This coherence is the foundation upon which miracles take form. Think about the story of Jesus walking on water. Many take it literally, others symbolically, but both interpretations hide a deeper technical teaching. Water represents the subconscious mind, the realm of emotion and inner belief. To walk on water symbolizes mastery over the inner landscape. It represents the ability to remain unwavering, even when emotions rise like waves. Peter walked on the water too, but only as long as his inner state remained steady. The moment fear returned, he sank. Jesus did not rebuke him for doubt in a moral sense. He was pointing out an energetic principle. Divided intention collapses the field. Imagine how many times in your life you have tried to manifest something but lost momentum because doubt entered. One moment you are aligned, confident, and connected. The next moment fear disrupts the flow. Jesus understood that miracles require unwavering internal coherence. Not perfection, but alignment. When intention, emotion, and belief move in the same direction, the energy field becomes powerful enough to shape the external world. Now consider his practice of withdrawing into solitude. Jesus often retreated to mountains, deserts, and quiet places. This was not only for prayer in the devotional sense, it was an essential part of energetic calibration. Solitude allows the mind to settle, the emotions to balance, and the inner field to harmonize with the greater field of the universe. Mystics throughout history follow this pattern. The Desert Fathers, the Sufi saints, the Tibetan lamas, and the Christian contemplatives all discovered that silence amplifies the inner frequency. When the inner state becomes still, intuition sharpens, When the heart becomes open, energy becomes more responsive. Jesus operated from this elevated state continuously. His connection to the source was not momentary, it was constant. This constant alignment explains why those around him experienced healing simply by being in his presence. When a person radiates unity, coherence, and love, others begin to resonate with that frequency. This phenomenon is called entrainment, and it exists not only in biology but in physics as well. When two energy fields meet, the weaker one begins to synchronize with the stronger. Jesus did not impose healing. He embodied a state that triggered healing in others naturally. Reflect on the moment when he said, "I am the light of the world." Light is not just illumination. Light is energy. Light is information. Light is the organizing principle of the universe. When he used this metaphor, he was describing the vibrational purity of his consciousness. He was aligned with the highest frequency available to human beings. And because of that alignment, miracles were not rare events. They were natural outcomes of his state of being. But here lies the most overlooked part of the science of miracles. Jesus constantly taught that others could do the same. He said, "The works that I do shall you do also, and greater works than these." He did not speak those words metaphorically. He was revealing a principle. Anyone who aligns with the same laws can activate the same potential. This is one of the most radical statements in spiritual history. It implies that the capacity for miracles is embedded in the human design. Pause and reflect on that. What if you already have the mechanisms within you? What if the challenge is not acquiring power, but remembering how to access it? What if every mystical teaching, from the Hermetic texts to the esoteric traditions of early Christianity, was pointing humanity toward the same conclusion, that the divine energy is not external but internal, and your consciousness is the key that unlocks it? As we continue, the next part will reveal the culmination of this understanding. It will bring together everything discussed so far and unveil the final insight, the one that ties Jesus, energy, and the nature of miracles into a single, transformative truth. Before we reach the final revelation, take a moment to breathe deeply and center yourself. Everything we have explored until now has been building toward a single profound truth, one that has been hidden in plain sight for centuries, scattered across scriptures, mystical traditions, and the very teachings of Jesus himself. This final understanding does not diminish the divine. Instead, it elevates your own connection to it. What you are about to hear may shift the way you understand miracles, energy, and your own spiritual potential forever. To uncover this final key, we must return to one of Jesus' most enigmatic statements: "The kingdom of God is within you." Many read this as poetic, but mystics, scholars, and esoteric teachers saw it as a literal declaration about the structure of human consciousness. If the kingdom is within you, then the creative power, the divine intelligence, and the laws of energy through which miracles are born must also be within you. This means that your inner world is not separate from the universe. It is a microcosm of it, a living reflection of the greater whole. Think about what this implies. If your consciousness mirrors the structure of the universe, then your thoughts, emotions, intentions, and beliefs are not passive experiences. They are forces. They influence the energetic field around you. They shape the patterns of your life. They determine what possibilities unfold before you. This is not just spiritual metaphor. It aligns with discoveries in quantum theory, which reveal that the observer participates in shaping reality. Scholars like David Bohm, Carl Jung, and Fritjof Capra have all explored this connection between mind and cosmos, each suggesting that consciousness and the universe are intimately intertwined. Jesus demonstrated this understanding through every action. When he healed, he was attuning someone to their original design. When he taught, he was guiding people back to inner coherence. When he performed miracles, he was acting from a state of unity with the source field. But perhaps the most revolutionary aspect of his message is that he insisted others could access this same unity. His teachings were never meant to create dependence. They were meant to awaken sovereignty. Imagine a lamp covered with a cloth. The light within never disappears. It is simply hidden. In the same way, your spiritual and energetic potential has always been present, even when buried under layers of fear, doubt, conditioning, and fragmentation. Jesus came to remove the cloth, to show humanity that the light was never gone, it was only obscured. His message was not about giving you power, but reminding you of the power you already possess. This brings us to the final revelation. Jesus understood and lived according to the law of inner resonance. Inner resonance is the principle that your internal frequency determines the external reality you experience. When your mind is unified, your emotions are harmonious, and your intention is clear, you create resonance with the divine field. This resonance is what makes miracles possible. It is not manipulation, it is alignment. It is not forcing reality, it is harmonizing with the deeper laws that govern it. Consider this. Whenever Jesus performed what we call a miracle, he did not plead, struggle, or exert force. He simply aligned with the highest truth and allowed reality to reorganize around that frequency. When he raised Lazarus, he first lifted his eyes and aligned with the source. When he multiplied food, he blessed it, elevating its vibrational field. When he calmed the storm, he projected inner stillness outward. His outer actions were extensions of his inner state. Modern studies in consciousness research suggest that coherence between heart and mind produces measurable effects on the physical world. The HeartMath Institute found that emotions of love and gratitude produce a stable, harmonic electromagnetic signature. Experiments in quantum physics show that intention can influence particles. Mystical traditions teach that divine alignment opens gateways of possibility. All these threads converge into one truth. Miracles are the natural result of resonance between human consciousness and the universal field. Reflect on your own life. Have you noticed moments when everything seemed to flow perfectly, as if the world was responding to your inner clarity? Have you felt times when your deepest intentions manifested almost effortlessly? These are glimpses of resonance. They are invitations to remember your connection to the same laws Jesus mastered completely. Now imagine what is possible if you cultivate this resonance intentionally. Imagine waking each day with awareness of your inner field. Imagine aligning your thoughts with purpose, your emotions with love, and your intentions with clarity. Imagine becoming a conscious participant in the creative process of your life. This is not fantasy. It is the foundation of every mystical path across history. This brings us to the ultimate message, the one Jesus hinted at over and over. The true miracle is not changing the external world. The true miracle is awakening the internal world. When the inner world transforms, the outer world must follow. When consciousness rises, reality reorganizes. When alignment deepens, miracles become natural. Jesus did not come to show what only he could do. He came to show what the human being is capable of when fully aligned with divine energy. He demonstrated the blueprint. He revealed the architecture of the mind, the heart, and the spirit. He lived the laws of resonance, coherence, love, and unity with such purity that the universe responded instantly to his awareness. And now, this knowledge passes to you. You are not separate from the field. You are not disconnected from the source. You are not powerless. The same laws work through you, waiting for your recognition. The kingdom is within you. The miracle is within you. The power is within you. This is the secret science of miracles, the truth that Jesus embodied and the truth that has been echoing through every mystical tradition since the beginning of time. When the inner being aligns with divine energy, reality transforms in response. Thanks for looking.